let me open this question up to the next frontier. So I think DeSantis has indicated that he is looking for other opportunities to send illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities. I was maybe going to give you a list, and you could tell me which one you think is in the highest level of danger for DeSantis Airways' its next flight.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. First on my list, I've got Dave Potter. I'm going to give you some mayors. Maybe you can tell me who's best equipped. Dave Potter is the mayor of Carmel, California. Lifelong civil servant, also has a construction company. I think I've got my money maybe on Aspen. It's governed by a mayor named Torre. That's his only name. Malibu, Paul Grisani, volunteer firefighter, and Provincetown, Mayor Alex Morse. What do you think is the likely next target here?
Well, I mean, I think Martha's Vineyard kind of captures the whole limousine liberal Massachusetts kind of thing. So Provincetown might be overkill there.
Yeah, I think it's redundant, right? Geographic diversity is important in American politics. So why another New England town?
Yeah. Now, the California thing is interesting because, I mean, Gavin Newsom is basically trying to position himself to be the guy who's the front runner if Biden decides not to run. Again, we'll get into that later. And so as part of that, he's basically trying to pick a fight with DeSantis at every opportunity he can. I kind of think it would be in DeSantis's interest to help Newsom do this because, like, I actually think Newsom would be a pretty weak Democratic nominee if he were to get it. I mean, this is a guy who, had to face a recall vote in his own state, and I don't think his decision, like the contrast between the two on COVID and a whole bunch of areas, I think probably favor DeSantis. So yeah, I would say probably one of the two California places would make sense.
I mean, Carmel is his back, or you know what? Not on the list. He could go to Napa. I mean, I think the key criterion here are limousine liberals in abundance and no actual infrastructure to absorb immigrants. So, Napa or Sonoma could be on the list too. I think that's the move. I'm with you.
Isn't the issue though that I agree there was a good troll factor with going after one limousine liberal holdout, but don't you think there's kind of a risk of it backfiring in the sense that, like, okay, the goal is that you try to call these people's hypocrisy out, but like if you're a virtue signaling wealthy liberal, there's kind of nothing easier than like housing 50 migrants in front of cable news cameras, right? But I mean, I would think that if you really want to show the cost of these policies, you actually go to a place where like middle class people feel the heat. But I don't know.
Well, I watched DeSantis's press conference after it, and I mean, the man can troll. Like, if there's one thing the guy knows how to do, troll. Actually, he knows how to lose weight. He's a lot skinnier than he used to be. But his whole thing was, they deported them after 24 hours. What does that say? So I think a troll, like DeSantis, can find a win in this no matter what.
Look, I wish that he would send them to Arlington, Virginia, because I'm getting pretty tired of the labor shortages here, and like the ethnic cuisine isn't really that good either. So, for what it's worth.
Well, okay. Well, Sanctuary City, Pratik's apartment, Sanctuary City. Do you have a couch or armchair? What do you have to offer?
There are two, 3-star hotels nearby. I think those would work fine.
I mean, you do raise a really good point. I was back on the West Coast. I was just like so good to be back in a place where people were speaking broken English, and like you had that sort of macho and like very optimistic viewpoint that immigrants have. Like your average bougie white person in Washington, D.C. is like very cynical and stuck up. And it was just nice to be around people who were like optimistic and excited and like ready to go.